housing for those apartments. I mean, for the housing or whatever around here. Teachers don't make that much. When they take out your taxes and your insurance, honey, you don't make very much. That's why teachers have second jobs. So when you start talking about all of this, it would be a big disgrace to me. You know, and this is speaking on behalf of myself. If I would sit here, and if you would come in District 2 and look at the progress for the last 40 years, 40 to 50 years over in District 2, and you're still talking about the streets over there, we don't have nice streets. We don't have what you have over what you're talking about developing, annexing. We don't have the sewage. We don't have the water that's going to be annexed over there to this new development. Our water is brown. Our pipe's been down for 40 plus years. I would be a disgrace if I would sit here and tell you, yes, let's just approve this annex so we can have this growth. Been promised for 30 to 40 years that this is going to be improvement over in District 2. That hasn't happened. Promises been promises and promises. But you cannot even go down a street over in District 2. I can only speak for District 2 at this particular time. You can't go down District 2 without bumpy. Don't ever have a cup of coffee. You're going to get all, you can't do it. And now you're ruining the streets that perhaps weren't so bad. By now you deter all the traffic off of Gold Kish Boulevard coming through the district. My people are saying, do something for us first. You board members, don't just look at, they're talking about building houses and annexing so they can annex property out here. I mean, when I first got on, we talked about expanding the city limits. It was a no, no, no. You weren't ready for expanding city limits. That was the first thing I asked you to do. Let's look at expanding the city limits so it could be all over, not just one particular property. So until you decide to look at the entire city of Live Oak, my vote is still going to be my vote. Because my people need, my district, we need things over my district first. When I say, we don't, like you said, street lights, the streets, the water, the sewage. You can't even, the mortician who used to sit in this position I was in, he had to wait till at night to embalm his people because of the water pressure over in my district. So I'm going to sit here and vote for more things to be placed over to luxury for someone else? Be for real, people. Fix the problem first. Come do something for those of us who've been here for 40, 50 years. Do something for us. Give us some of it first. Do something for us, and I would love to see it. I would love to, because I probably would buy one of those houses over there as long as you give me an acre. I don't want to be stuck on. I don't want to be stuck with a neighbor. I look at the development that you're talking about. This is not, I don't think, what Suwannee County is ready for. We're not ready for the city. I've lived in the city before. And this is, we're not ready for the crowd. The crowd. Those are northern, those are southerners who are moving in and said, hey, look, because they don't know what it's like to have the freedom. They don't know what it's like to be free, to understand what it is. And this is my beat. I love growth. And if the revenue, like you said, we're not going to get that much money off of it. The school systems, we have to beg for money. We have to go, so there's so many things that I'm asking the board to consider before we make this big decision as to voting to annex it in, because some of your districts, you might want to reconsider your votes when you start talking about it. Later on down, a couple years from now, I'm for it. But first, do something for home. This old saying, take care of home first. Take care of home first. And then down the road, and I would love to develop, because I love that area out there. It's beautiful. I saw a piece that I wanted to buy for myself to put a home on off of Bass Road. It's gorgeous out there. But right now, can we afford it? Can we afford it to the people who've been here all these years, who've dedicated their lives, who maybe they didn't have enough, the money that the people are coming into the city that they're doing, that they can afford to do these things. Think about those of us who've lived here all of our lives, who've given up so much to be here. The teachers, like Mr. Hines said, he was hoping that the teachers from Branford and Suwannee graduate, that they would stay here in this area and be teachers and become, give them an opportunity, a chance. That's all I'm asking. Okay, off the soapbox.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I may, and
It's discussion time. We fine?
yes, council and I will disagree. I don't think there's anybody in here have not been to Lake City, Jacksonville, Orlando, football games and everything else, Tallahassee. We fight traffic. We fight traffic. I mean, I hear a lot of folks complain about the traffic in Lake City. We maneuver our way around Lake City to get to the quickest point we can get to, off of 90, off of 100, and whatever else. You know, we talk about these things, but yet we admire Lake City for their growth. We admire Lake City for having all these restaurants. We admire Lake City for having a large school. We admire Lake City for having a college, you know, and we talk about, I'm gonna say this, District 2, and the person that sat in this council seat 38 years, but 38 years I've heard the same thing. I used to live in District 2, that our council's not doing anything, and we're not getting this, we're not getting that. Once again, I entered into this city back in 1992, a teenager, and I have not seen anything different over there in District 2. But out of all those years of representation, I'm not putting down the previous council, but sometimes you have to fight. Yes, if you only vote, or you're only one person, you only got one vote anyway. But people talk about the traffic, and not look at where they're going. Like I said, we'll take off and spend our money in Lake City, fight that traffic during the holidays, during football games, anything else. We'll fight that traffic, and then we'll come back here to Live Oak. You know, either we want to see some growth, and we want to talk about businesses and growth and all of that. Our education plays a part in whether a company come here or not, especially good paying jobs come here or not. And the biggest thing, I talk with some CEOs and all of that, the education level is too low. You don't have a college over here. Now we finally got River Oaks. But all that plays a picture. When I was in the school system, substitute teaching, I would have a talk with the students. I said, if you all want to see things grow and want things to do, you all have to bring up the education level. Who is that? Because at one point in time, we was a failing school, down to a D or C. Bramford outranked Swanee High. Then I seen vice versa, where Swanee High came back up for his AB school. So that alters and all that. But I'm saying is, yes, growth now, putting things off later, that's what happened. That's why nothing got done 30, 40 years. And that's why nothing got done 60, 70 years ago, because folks was afraid to move to growth. And I will not change my vote.
Council Jefferson, may I ask you personally?
Yes, ma'am.
What have you saw in your district has changed? What's going on in your district? Do you see any housing coming up in your district?
I can say the
Do you
same.
see, do you see?
The discussion needs to be generally and not.
It is. This is a general discussion to you. This is what
No,
we're discussing.
but it needs to be a general discussion to the council and not a
To
conversation.
to the council, in District 1, I'm gonna ask District 1, and I don't like what you just done, sir, but, District 1, to District 1, I have not seen anything change over in District 1 since I've been here, and, thank you for standing up and letting me know. Hey, Linda, okay, chill out, thank you. District 1, there hasn't been any changes with the last, he just moved here, and I've been here for 68 plus years since Mike's been here. And District 1 has been the same. District 2 has been worse. District 3 has been a few changes. District 4, District 5. But now I want you to look over off of, that's going to be off of, 11th Street over, the homes that's being built in that area. If you want to talk about annexing. Different types of homes. You're talking about taxation. And what I'm saying is, before you start the annexing, all I'm asking is, give it a little while. Annex the entire city of Live Oak. don't just look at one particular property at this particular time. I'm sorry he's not here, but he said that he already was looking at a plan, our new city manager. He was looking at a plan that he could, wanted to annex the entire city of Ligo. He's looking at that plan. He wants to do it as an overall. And I think it's fair that I think it's only fair that we give him an opportunity to do that instead of sitting here voting on one piece of property. That this is what we need to do. We need to look at it as an overall.
Any other?
Yeah, I just want to clarify and kind of state my position and defend it if I may. I was elected by the constituents in District 4, however, my concerns go much farther than just my district. I'm concerned about the entire city of Live Oak as well as the county of Swanee. It's near and dear to my heart. It's where I've raised my children. It's where I make my living. And I am a teacher, now a dean of a school, and I do have 2.5, I call them 2.5, side jobs, because so I do understand the struggle for those that are in the education field. However, I've kind of made a list as I've been listening to individuals talk tonight, taking into consideration everybody's point of view, and just kind of doing the pros, cons, and just some uncertainties and unknowns. And some of the things that I've noted are there. When you bring in growth such as this, it's going to inevitably increase the current citizens' property taxes. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a domino effect. We've already seen it happen in the real estate world here in our area, because some of these homes that people, for example, about 2.5 years ago over the summer, I sold a mobile home to a couple from South Tampa, and it was on 1 acre, and the mobile home was at the time 16 years old, and that mobile home on 1 acre sold for $174,000. It blows my mind that the price that people are willing to pay. Having said that, the fluctuation of the market is very unpredictable. So these values, these homes that we're saying now, it could change. That's an uncertainty for me. One of the main things that I look at too is the position and location as it relates to the school system. We can't really change where the schools are located right now, and I don't know that putting something that close to the school system is the best idea for right now. The traffic patterns are going to have to drastically change, and they're going to be affected. Everybody can agree on that, I think. What does responsible growth look like? I think that's one of the main questions that I don't think has been answered tonight. I think it's a complex question. It's going to involve years and years of kind of input and research, and some of it's going to be trial and error. It's like a scientific method sort of approach. You're also looking, that nobody's discussed too, but we just went through where we did not decide to, because of cost, I think to go for the redistricting within the city. That's going to change the geopolitical landscape if you put that many people in what would be currently District 4. So it would quadruple in size of just one district, so to speak. So there would be an imbalance of power there. That's something that hasn't been discussed. I am very intrigued by the commercial piece that was mentioned that would go along 129 there. I think that I'm not very naive here. If everything were to remain the same, this is gonna pass tonight as it did the other night. So I'm very willing to, if it does pass, I'm willing to make the best out of the situation and try to give input and make that responsible growth happen. I think the commercial piece would be a good piece. I really do, because it would build up that end, but I think that it's going to continue to add to the traffic problem. Inevitably, that's going to be one of the main issues, I think, down the road, is circumventing the downtown area. And then when you do that, the downtown businesses suffer. So it's kind of a balance. I think that's one of the things that we haven't really kind of tapped into enough just yet. I can kind of piggyback off of what Miss Councilwoman Owens is saying. It does seem somewhat to some people like maybe it's a slap in the face if we're going to just input and insert this brand new beautiful community, and then the communities in which we live currently and the neighborhoods in which we live, those of us that live in the city, are subpar in maintenance. We've just now gotten, this is my second year doing this, we've just gotten a code enforcement person that's fully trained, to the best of my knowledge, and trying to tackle that huge issue. I don't know that we're able to currently maintain and improve what we have effectively. And if we add to that problem, I don't know how that's going to, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. So that's kind of an unknown for me as well. I don't agree with, as Mr. Bradford stated, we're to encourage poverty. I don't think anybody would encourage poverty intentionally. I think that you do have to be careful that what you invite into your community, because there's a reason why people are leaving the areas in which they're leaving to come to our area. And it's probably not to duplicate or replicate some of the problems that they have in those areas. Those areas were once small areas just like ours, and now they're big, booming, sprawling urban sprawl, and with houses that are selling for $500,000 to $750,000 a pop, and you can literally hand your salt shaker to your neighbor through the kitchen window. I think, and I'm not tooting Mr. Collins' horn here, but when he said seems forced, and that was very profound to me. It does seem like it almost seems like we're forcing something into our city that, and somebody else might mention this as maybe, I'm not sure that we're ready for it. I think it sounds great. It will solve a lot of problems as far as, I've talked with our city manager, who's not here tonight, but spoke with him, and it will help in kind of getting a more contiguous water flow. It's going to help some with bringing in new infrastructure and things of that nature. There'll be less dead ends spots like where I currently live, where every time they flush the fire hydrant, which is in between my house and my neighbor's, my water is disgusting. We can't wash our clothes for a day or so until we run our water out. And that's a whole nother issue. But so I think there are some positives. There are many pros, quite frankly, to this. There are many cons, and there's many still unknowns. And I just feel like right now, I'm not 100% comfortable at saying, yeah, I think this is a great location. Is it inevitable? More than likely. Will it be a fluctuating thing? Yes. And I said this last time, and I'll say it again. And everybody's exactly right. Nothing is going to happen without a planning and zoning board to approve it and a city council to approve it. But who knows what this city council looks like after this summer. There's a possibility that it could be us two and 3 new faces. Don't know what their agendas are. Who knows what the planning and zoning board is going to look like a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. So when you look at those things, you have to consider them, I think, as well. I know they're unknown, so a lot of these things are not able to be projected. You can do your best estimate. If I'm the developer, if I'm the engineer, I'm going to paint the most beautiful picture I can, because that's your bread and butter. And there's no disrespect to you, I would do the same exact thing. So if you have a dog in the fight, you're gonna put it out there. Those numbers that you gave us, if that were to come to fruition, I think that would be fantastic. I think some of them are estimated low on the traffic counts. I think some of them may be estimated kind of high, but that's your job to do as a broker and as a developer, or a representative of a developer and an engineer. You're making a living just like everybody else. We have to, I think, though, collectively consider not only our districts, we have to consider our school systems, we have to consider the county residents, the city residents, and I just don't know about that one particular area right now. If I can sit here and say, and I would love to be proved wrong in 5 years, I'd love to say, man, I'm glad that went through despite my convictions, but that would have to be something that happens. I'm going to have to have somebody say, I told you so, Mr. Campbell. So as for right now, I just don't know that this is the time, and that's not necessarily the place for me. That's really all I have to say.
May I say one more thing? Let me fit in my district, District 1, that has been growth in District 1. District 1 is one half of Walker Avenue all the way up to Francis Shelton Green, all the way out there to the city limit sign. We all know that there have been new restaurants, Popeyes and Highway 55, and talk about developing a apartments, Lowe's, all that was in District 1. And now, far as the north end and the east end, all things have not changed. Like I said, I've been traveling down this way a long time. I've watched this whole entire city, for as it still have remained the same. And for as things not moving, our streets and roads have still been pretty much the same, except for 90 and 129 being repaved because they're state roads. But yes, I will defend District 1, and then we'll talk about for its impact on population redistricting. Once those apartments and those other developments out there in my district, as it increases, the population is going to increase. We will have to redistrict. Same thing if you get these other homes annexed in there, you will, because it will change the balance of our districts. His district will be impacted, mine's going to be impacted much a whole lot sooner than his district will. But to keep everything fair in our city council, in our city elections, our supervisor election, Mr. Gill, kind of balance things out. I watched my district go from the #1 district with more voters down to the least number of voters, 541, it might be 500 by now. I've seen all that, I keep up with all that stuff. Whether I grew up in this city or not, and all of that, but I do know this city because I've been hanging around this city for quite a while, even as a teenager.
Okay, we've had a discussion. We've got a motion and a second on the floor, so
Let's do a roll call. If Mr. Clerk would restate the motion so there's no confusion, and then do a roll call.
All right, the motion on the floor is to approve ordinance number 1507, voluntary
It's your first
annexation.
reading, first reading of the.
First reading, for ordinance 1507, to approve it. So, do a roll call by district. So District 1, Mr. Jefferson.
Yes.
District 2, Ms.
No.
Owens. District 3, Mr. Birch.
yes.
District 4,
Nay.
District 5.
Yes.
All right,